They say a bad day fishing is better than a good day at work.
But the anglers in our next story don't even have to worry about that at all because fishing is actually their job.
Lucky. Carson Randolph, a student at Fort Lewis College, takes us to Duranglers.
It's a fly fishing shop that will get you hooked on the art and heart of fly tying.
I think some people would classify fly tying as an art form. Some people might just classify it as a utilitarian aspect of fly fishing. I would say it's an art form because you can be as creative with it as you want, and you can go above and beyond what it requires to catch a fish. More than just mimicking a trout food or any fish food, you can create beautiful works of art. I think a lot of people really enjoy the idea of tying something and then connecting with the fishing by catching a fish with something they created. I continue to tie because it's a challenge. Even though I think it might look awesome, a fish might hate it. Tricking a fish into thinking something is real is really quite interesting to me. My name is Andy McKinley, and I work at Duranglers Flies and Supplies. I became interested in fishing when I was 11. My grandpa took me to a sports show. I saw a couple guys tying flies there, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. What are they doing? And it kind of just absorbed into them for like an hour. I thought that this is something I can do. This is something I want to do. Started fly fishing a year later, tying flies right around the same time. Equipment needed for fly tying: you're going to need a vise, scissors, a bobbin, which is something that holds the thread, whip finisher, or a half hitch tool. And those are used just to tie the knot as you finish the fly so it doesn't come unraveled. Generally speaking, there's going to be dry flies. They're called dry flies. Obviously nothing's dry, but it floats on top of the water. A wet fly is something that sinks into the water, kind of down to where trout are if they're not coming up to eat something. Hackle is the feather that you would wrap on a hook, and that's depending on what you're looking to do. The hackle, as you wrap it on, has an effect of splaying out small fibers that help that fly float, mimic part of an insect. There is a benefit to using real feathers versus synthetic depending on what you're trying to imitate. Real feathers can offer quality of especially UV properties, looks more natural in the water than synthetic stuff. I think the most memorable stuff is just kind of comes from teaching people and learning more about it for myself. Starting to teach my older son to tie flies has been one of my favorite things to do. I hope he pours himself into something that interests him as much as, I have an interest in fly fishing and fly tying. I love the community of fly fishing. There's a lot of people who fly fish that I've met who are lifelong friends. I just love the creative aspect of it. There's so many different ways to approach a piece of water, and I don't think I've learned them all. And I think everyone has a little bit different way of doing it. It kind of depends on your personality and what you love. I think there's so much to learn about just fish behavior and the natural world at large, and it's a great connection to that.
This is really touching. Carson dedicated this film for her grandfather, actually, Cliffy, and he was a fly fisherman.
Thank you for showing us that, Carson, that special relationship between a person and the river. So beautiful.
Yes, it is. And if you want to try your hand at fly fishing, like me, and I don't know if that's correct, but you can find more information at the link.
Michael's going to visit that link later.
I think I should.
Get some tips.